Alright. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dallas Geek.
We're live.
Yeah, go figure. You're only 3 minutes late.
Yeah. Sorry, I got that notification. I was like, oh, hey, we're live.
Yeah, go figure.
Right.
Yeah. Just got to make sure that this time we don't have that same Facebook technical difficulty that we did last time, and only realized it like halfway through.
What's this Wii stuff?
The Royal Wii?
Don't think that's how that works, but okay.
Guys, as always, I'm Brad. That's Mike. We're Dallas Geek. How you doing?
Hello.
Mike, you doing okay?
Good, Brad. I'm good.
Yeah? Nice.
Got a couple things here from the Capitol building. I went sightseeing last. Oh wait.
Not touching that. Well, directly.
Yeah, that is
directly.
That is a felony. I probably shouldn't admit to that. You're right.
And we already got Cody on Facebook saying hi. Hey, Cody, how you doing?
Let's just be 100% honest. If I just so happened to be in the DC area when all of that was going on, like, part of me thinks that I would be smart and responsible and respect the institution of this country and the Republic and everything that I love and hold dear and not get involved.
Sure.
Then the other part of me thinks that, holy shit, I could be like Nick Cage and get my hands on the Declaration of Independence.
But either way, I'm willing to bet you'd be smart enough to not live stream your activities.
You know, Brad, I'm neither going to confirm nor deny that, because if I got my hands on the Declaration of Independence, I would want there to be record of that shit.
Wow. Dang. Well, looks like, Cody's been having fun with the Rona. Yay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I would only want it just so I could see if there was a treasure map on the back of it. And to hang it in my room.
I'm convinced, Thomas Jefferson put something on the back just to mess with people. Like some crude joke, just for historians to be able to shake their heads in disgust at.
I would be more than okay with that.
But anyway, so, I mean, it is kind of topically appropriate to at least address the chaos that has been the last several days, because
what are you talking about?
Kind of the inspiration for what we're talking about today.
It was like 3 hours on a Wednesday. Let's not blow this out of proportion. It's not like the Capitol was like put in lockdown and people sieged the literal place where our government is run. Like, everything's fine. There is no more embossing say. Nothing to see here, just move along.
Yeah. So
everything is fine, Brad.
Going into today, we were kind of sad that we had already talked about V for Vendetta, because if there was ever a time that it would have been appropriate.
Yeah.
But
I guess just, let's just save the political movies for like the beginning of the years, because it seems like everything goes off the rails in the first week or two.
I mean, last year we almost had World War III. This year,
in January,
we have maybe the start of Civil War II. I mean,
is that gonna be Civil War II Electric Boogaloo?
I mean, there is a lot of white trash involved, so very possibly.
Are they gonna get a different director for this one? Are we gonna see a different directing style, or is it just gonna be a little bit more of the same?
Well, based on the news coverage, definitely a lot of shirtless dudes. So, I mean,
is Denzel still gonna grab the?
You're gonna get something.
Is Denzel still gonna grab the flag and run up the hill with it?
Oh no! Denzel's too good for this.
I'll give somebody $1 if they get that reference on the chat.
But with that, seriously though, we decided to have a little bit of fun with our kind of dark, twisted sense of humor, and
yeah, a little bit of fun with the potential crumbling of our republic.
Rather than go with something so on the nose, although it was considered, like Olympus Has Fallen.
Yes.
Because, I mean, Gerard Butler feels about as appropriate as anything to be talking about right now.
Yeah, you know, not American? Got it.
Or if we want to go knock off Gerard Butler, White House Down. And, you know.
Oh, that is such a bad movie. Like, holy hell, that is such a bad movie. Like, Olympus Has Fallen has, like, flashes of, like, man, this, if it didn't... Olympus Has Fallen is one of those where I was like, man, like, that was actually enjoyable. Like, I knew exactly what I was getting.
Yeah.
Like, White House Down was literally like, we're just gonna up the black jokes more, and then we're gonna throw Channing Tatum in there without a shirt.
I mean, that is kind of half of Channing Tatum's career. Well, probably 3/4.
Like 90%
yes.
of it. Yeah.
I mean, Olympus Has Fallen was one of those movies that if they had... Okay, let's be honest. This is one of those movies that if Michael Bay had directed, it would have been considered an all-time action classic. Like this, that was a movie that deserved Michael Bay in a good way.
Hey, you shut your whore mouth. Antoine Fuqua directed that. He is an amazing director.
He's an amazing director, but Olympus Has Fallen is a Michael Bay movie that they couldn't afford to get Michael Bay for. Like, the only way that movie could have been considered perfect is if Michael Bay had actually directed it. Like, that would have put it at, like, peak.
I like being able to see and comprehend what's happening.
It's overrated.
Plus, I just love the fact that Gerard Butler's, like, go-to move in that movie is, like, I'm just gonna stab you in the skull. Like, multiple times in that movie, he's just like, I'm gonna put my knife in your brain. And then, sure enough, gets into a fight with a dude and stabs him in the top of the skull. I was like, it's a man that calls a shot. I like it. It's like Babe Ruth in the 32 World Series over there.
But, since Olympus Has Fallen, there we go, was way too on the nose, we decided to go way more controversial, at least for nerds, and go with maybe the most controversial comic book movie that's ever been made. Thank you, Zack Snyder. Watchmen.
Shocker.
Yeah. But before we dive too deeply into this, the mandatory shilling. Guys, if this is your first time joining us, please do not forget to like the video and follow us over on Facebook, like the video and subscribe over on YouTube, and if you want to check out more of our stuff but don't always have time for the videos, you can always check out the audio of our live shows and our interviews over at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher, because we are all the places, all the time, for you. Now, Watchmen. Because, you know, this...
Indeed.
There's no way this could ever rub anybody the wrong way to talk about this movie.
Sorry about that. I was trying to pull up comments.
What are you doing?
Well, I was trying to pull up the comments so that I could live watch them, and it accidentally pulled up the actual video, so... Just continue. Sorry.
Okay, so Cody, over here on the Facebook comments, is saying that he saw the movie and then read the book. And in fairness, that's actually the same order I did it too.
Same.
I had not had the opportunity to be properly introduced to it before Zack Snyder got his hands on it. And so, I will say, because of the movie, I'm glad that I had a reason to go read the book. Because while they are absolutely different beasts, you got the Zack Snyder movie that is trying so hard to be an action blockbuster, and doesn't quite get it. And you got the book that is trying to be much more social commentary disguised as a superhero almost parody.
Well,
and
so
it's very talkative, but it's fantastic.
So I think same with you, was introduced to it. I knew of Watchmen before the movie.
Yeah.
And before I read it. In all honesty, I think probably, like you said, like, the movie almost doesn't know what it wants to be. Like, does it want to be a big action blockbuster with cool slow-mo and CGI all over the place and dope fighting scenes? Does it want to be a film noir? Which I would even say that's more what the actual graphic novel is. As you said, social commentary. That's 100% on the point, but it is very narrative, like a film noir, like a superhero whodunit. And the movie like takes aspects of that, like with Rorschach narrating it like, he does in the comic, but it doesn't fully grasp it like it almost should have, if that makes sense.
Sure. No, and I will say the one part of the movie that I think was done the closest to correct, at least as far as being faithful to the graphic novel, was Rorschach.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, pulling Jackie Haley in to do anything, you're already doing a good job at least on the casting side, because he's gonna give you everything he has. But I liked how much they held on to his cynicism with this movie. I mean, just that quote from, like, almost all the trailers from him of...
Well, go ahead and play it, Brad. I know you've got it queued.
Yes, I do. If I can actually get it to work properly.
There you go, buddy. Good job.
Will look up and shout, "Save us!" No whisper. No.
There we go.
So are we sure that was Rorschach saying that, not Donald Trump?
I mean, kind of.
I'm sorry.
Although he didn't say I love you at the end, so I mean, clearly not the Don.
No. Sorry. I'm sorry. I meant Big Daddy Trump.
We don't want Adam Sandler to sue us for trademark infringement.
Let him sue us. It's fine. It's fine. There's gonna be so much winning we can pay for it. It's fine.
But honestly, yeah, so it's kind of the same difference that you had, I mean, really with every Alan Moore adaptation that we've had. Alan Moore's graphic novels are always very deeply seated in their political and social commentary, and what they're trying to explain about the nature of the society they're talking about. Mostly Americans, but in general, he has a very specifically cynical view of modern Western society. And
not with V for Vendetta.
No, that was very, like, the graphic novel especially had a very cynical view of people.
Well, of course,
Watchmen,
but I wouldn't say Western society. V for Vendetta was more about Nazism and socialism than anything.
Yes, but there's a reason why he based it in,
London.
Europe,
right,
with that heavy American influence. And here with Watchmen, you have the same ideas, just a lot more emphasis on the military side of the conversation, and the militarization of the government against its people. And I guess, I don't know, not quite fascist, methods, but definitely not really great ways.
So I guess, you know, it's a really interesting concept because it takes place in a world where superheroes are literally allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Up until a point where it goes so bad that they outlaw all of them.
Yeah.
So, like, it's literally like, this is a society as, like, superheroes, costumed crime fighters, let's go. Like, vigilantism, we're totally okay with it. And then all of a sudden you pull the plug on it, and it's like, oh, well, never mind then, I guess. But the really brilliant part is that nobody had superpowers. They were all just regular-ass people, except for the most powerful being in existence.
There were two. You had Dr. Manhattan and Ozymandias. Ozymandias, granted, his superpower wasn't really power so much as super intellect.
He just, yeah. He was just
but
super
I mean,
smart.
It definitely counts as a superpower considering how advanced it was. Like, going past Einstein or Stephen Hawking level intellect, that has to count as a superpower if we're really measuring it against the other heroes in that world.
I mean, that's fair, I guess. I'll give you that.
Now, granted, if you want to take the more accurate adaptation / follow-up to the graphic novel, which was HBO's adaptation of Watchmen, that brings in a bit more of the superpower-ish side of things, but still keeps that enough of a fringe element within the whole superhero concept that it stays very loyal to the idea of, you know, Alan Moore's idea of superheroes is not really the same thing as, like, your traditional Marvel or DC superhero.
Right.
And I don't know. I know. I was actually a fan of the HBO adaptation, especially by comparison to the movie. But I can definitely see where even if you go for a series format, there's just no easy way to adapt Watchmen. It's such a dense material. It's very specific, and I mean, even Alan Moore's own sort of follow-up to it wasn't really as faithful as the original was.
Well,
So,
look, like, Alan Moore's a guy that, like, when anybody adapts his work, he hates it.
Yeah.
Because nobody's been able to do it and actually convey what he was trying to say with it, right? Like, that's always his gripe, is hey, you guys weren't even close. Good job, idiots. But I think, for me, like I said, for me, Watchmen, Watchmen almost is, like, it's one of those, like, it has so much material, like, it should be a series. Or,
yes.
It should be multiple movies. Like what they're going to do with Dune. Like, how it's going to be basically 2.5, 3-hour movies. Like, there's so much in Watchmen, and there's so much, like, that's beneath the surface in terms of, like, actually diving into it and taking a look at, like, what he's talking about with society and everything. Like, you can't convey that. And the squid. Like, you can't convey that in a 2.5-hour movie. Like, even the director's cut is 3 hours long, and even the director's cut leaves out a lot of stuff.
Well,
and
that's why I think HBO's series came the closest to capturing this.
Yeah.
And that's why it's that much sadder that as of right now there is no intention to come out with season 2. Because, I mean, especially now with the place we're at with the modern superhero genre as far as cinema and TV goes, having a balance with this more cynical look at heroes without it being like the DC cinematic Zack Snyder cynical feels necessary to balance it out. Because there's a difference between the cynical hero movie and the cynicism of Watchmen, because the cynical hero movie is cynical about the comic book genre. This is cynical about society and just happens to use superheroes as the framing device, and it feels very different.
Look, I think you're 100% right. I think cynicism, like, that's what was so missed, was the cynicism of these people that we give all these power to. Like, we give all this power to, sorry.
Yeah.
And how, like, it corrupts and how it perverts people and it twists their mind. Like, Dr. Manhattan started out with the best intentions, but then, like, even then, like, as you progress through it, like, there's that old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You know, like, this is, you know, Watchmen... What's up?
It always comes back to the squid.
It always comes back to the squid, that damn squid. But, like, this is,
fairness,
like, there is a reason why... Yeah, like... Well, there's a reason why this film is so hotly debated, because people think it's either brilliant or they think they basically just took a giant dump on the source material. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and look, you know how I feel about Zack Snyder. I think this is his only good movie.
Well, okay.
But even then, this is his
I
only
have to
good,
take
this
a slightly
is his only
different
good
approach
movie.
as far as Zack Snyder's directing. I actually think 300 was the best he ever did, and it's because of Watchmen that the rest of his directing career has gone downhill. Because he had an idea for an aesthetic and a cinematography style that 300 gave us, and then Watchmen took it in a slightly different direction, and it got so well received at the time that he's tried to take every movie he's made since then and just do variations of Watchmen, which was the wrong lesson to learn, rather than trying to go back and take the original 300 formula that was that very hyper-realistic comic book aesthetic and take that to its natural end. Like, that's what made his directing style unique. This, I think, threw him off track.
See, I think you have him flipped. Like, to me, Watchmen is the one that stands the test of time more than 300 does, because to me 300 is completely forgettable. Like, I went back and watched it the other day. Like, it does not hold up. It's the only thing that holds up is the visuals. Story, whatever. Acting, whatever. Characters, don't care. It doesn't hold up in that
all
aspect.
300
Whereas,
has, but that's what made it unique. It looked like a comic book brought to screen.
Well, yeah, of course, but you still also had those visuals in Watchmen, but at the same time, he actually had better character development. Much better character development.
But
infinitely better
that's
character
the
development.
difference. Watchmen throws that neon, like that punk neon hue to it, which, of course, you know, we got taken to its ultimate conclusion with, oh, good lord. Why am I blanking on the name of it? Baby Doll.
Sucker Punch.
There it is. Sucker Punch.
Which was a terrible film.
Yeah, but it takes that aesthetic to its ultimate extreme with Sucker Punch, and then pulls back to try to give it the more dark, neo-noir version of Watchmen with the DC movies he's done. And it's still trying to stay within that Watchmen wheelhouse, rather than trying to stick within the 300 wheelhouse, but bring in the character development he learned from Watchmen and try to merge the two.
Well, so that's where I think you're wrong, is I think he shouldn't try to make any other DC film like Watchmen. Watchmen is its own property. Those characters are in their own universe. Those characters are completely and totally morally... I don't want to say they're morally bankrupt, but they're pretty goddamn morally bankrupt. Like, especially compared to the mainline DC characters. Like, you're going to tell me that we need to develop somebody like Ozymandias or Rorschach and give them the same kind of character development and mentality and moral compass as, like, Superman?
No, I'm saying he learned the concept of character development in Watchmen.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying his problem is that he's been trying to make a 300 style movie with 300 style characters with DC characters ever since.
Oh yeah.
And that's
where
his
the problem
is.
I'm saying if he
Yeah.
took the 300 aesthetic, took that to its natural end, but took the character development lessons he learned from Watchmen and merged that with the 300 aesthetics, I think he would be considered a much stronger director than he is today. But he learned the wrong lessons.
Possibly, but
he wanted the Watchmen
find out.
aesthetic and the 300 character development. So he went flipped from what he should have learned.
No, I got you, but I mean, we're about to find out here in a couple months, because we're gonna get the
Snyder
hashtag
cut.
Snyder cut, which I have never wanted something to fail so hard in my life. I have never wanted something to be so bad in my life, just so I can stop hearing fanboys kiss his ass every chance they get. Like, he is not the Messiah. Like, I'm sorry, we need to come to the realization his movies aren't that deep or thematic as you people seem to think. Oh my god, Jesus allegories all across Man of Steel, because that didn't happen in, I don't know, every modern iteration of Superman.
Yeah.
Smallville did it. Superman Returns did it, and Superman Returns did it better. But I'm sorry, I swear to Christ Almighty, or whoever the hell you pray to, if I have to hear one more kiss-ass say, if you laugh at the Martha scene, then you don't understand how deep and complex that entire scene is, I might shoot him and myself in the head.
So, to tie this into the current events,
Sorry.
The cynicism of the anarchy that is shown in society in Watchmen feels very appropriate to today, because, I mean, you want to talk about a movie that, whether the movie or the original source material, clearly did not have faith in humanity's ability to fix themselves, and required an extreme reaction to intervene. Most every news headline we've been seeing for about the last year or so now kind of reflects that exact same idea, and unfortunately makes Watchmen feel almost prophetic, which is not what you want to say. You do not want to say that, hey, we are actually living a movie. It just happens to be Watchmen. That's not what you want to be able to say.
So what you're saying then is that we need to go ahead and start just vigilante superheroism then.
I mean, I feel like that's the next natural step. I'm not saying it's what we should do, but I feel like that's the next headline we're almost guaranteed to get.
All right, I will go ahead and go buy some elbow pads, combat gloves, and I will get my fedora.
Just remember, Buffalo Man's already taken.
Buffalo Man is already taken. So is the comedian. What about the Joker? That has a nice ring to it, and I don't think anybody's taken that one, right?
That's fair. Well, didn't he go into politics? I feel
Possibly.
like he went into politics, but I can't seem to place where he landed with that.
You talking about the Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got elected president.
I thought he was the president already.
No. That's Lex Luthor.
Oh, you're giving him way too much credit.
Am I? Maniacal, multi-billionaire, has literally no inkling of wanting to run for political office, and then just out of the blue decides to run for president and wins? That sounds like Lex Luthor.
But Lex Luthor had legitimate intelligence and, fewer ego issues.
I'm sorry, did you just say that Lex Luthor had fewer ego issues than anybody?
Yes. I know what I said.
Okay, I'm just wanting to make sure you heard what you said. Yeah, no. Trump is Lex Luthor. Biden's Joker. The Rock is The Rock. He gets to be his own superhero.
That if there was going to be somebody that was going to be a proper, like, real life superhero, I feel like he's the only person that could do it. Like, what criminal would ever want to go head to head with him?
No, I feel like there's some dudes that are like mixed martial artists that like legit could go out and fight crime on a hand-to-hand basis.
No, yeah.
Like, you gonna tell me like
Probably.
GSP or like Conor McGregor couldn't go out there and just absolutely wreck like a group of fucking, I don't know, thugs or like pickpockets or like drug dealers? Come on. Those guys would wreck anybody that they fought on the street. Now when you start getting like, you know, weapons and stuff involved, then we got us a different conversation.
Okay. Well,
Now you're gonna tell me that you couldn't see Ronda Rousey like running around the streets just snapping people's arms in an armbar for dealing meth? Like, come on, that would be amazing.
so what you're telling me is Jason David Frank needs to become an actual superhero. Got it.
He wasn't already? Exactly. How do we know he's not already, Brad? How do we know he's not already? Do I want to know?
David, Facebook comments.
I can't...
Thank you for that, David. Thank you.
What did he say?
Oh, I'll let you find that one all on your own. But, with that, I feel like we've touched on pretty much everything that is worth talking about with Watchmen, without getting too political. And I feel like if we went any longer in this, then it would be way too obvious that you've forgotten where your censor button is.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway,
Who the hell
With that-
cares? It's not even like we're monetized.
with that, guys, thank you for joining us. Question of the day. Have you seen Watchmen? What did you think? And if you've read Watchmen,
Let us know
What was
how
your
disappointed
favorite
you were in
part?
the comments.
what was the part of the movie that disappointed you the most if you were a fan of the comic? There we go.
Only one part? Wow.
I mean, everybody has the one that just went past their limit.
The squid. The squid.
Hey, we aren't talking director's cut or, deleted scenes. We're
It's
talking
not even
actual
it's not even in the
theatrical.
director's cut.
Exactly. Even Snyder didn't want to touch the squid.
I know. Because he's got no balls.
Like the squid.
I feel like that's being a little presumptuous.
But, guys, thank you for joining us. Until next time, please do not forget, if you've not already, like our video and follow us over on Facebook, like the video and subscribe over on YouTube, and if you want to check out more of our stuff but don't always have time for the videos, you can check out the audio of all of our live streams and interviews over at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher, because we are all the places, all the time, for you. So, Mike,
Yeah. Yep.
you have fun? Is this good enough for you? Did you get what you needed into today? Did you get enough Snyder hate out?
I got
Yeah, don't care.
Snyder hate
Don't
out.
care.
I didn't get enough stealing of the Declaration of Independence in, though.
We could do that next.
Okay with that. You know, that actually probably would have
go
been
down the Nick Cage rabbit hole.
Well, you know, to be
Pull an
honest with
op-ed.
you, like a lot of the things that Ben Gates actually believes in was like, you know, fully on display over the last week. We actually probably should have done National Treasure now that I think about it.
Hey, watch your mouth. Don't you dare badmouth Nick Cage like that. Nick Cage is better than that. Ben Gates is better
What?
than that.
No. I'm sorry, you misunderstood. I mean, like, a lot of the things
Until
that
next time,
Ben Gates...
guys,
okay.
ignore this thing over here.
Mhm.
I'm Brad. This is somebody.
Uh-huh.
Mike.
Keep talking, I'll just start dropping F-bombs left and right. That's fine.
We are Dallas Geek.
We are.
Bye, guys.
Bye.